everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and today we're kicking off a weekend reading vlog. So I have a long weekend this weekend with having Monday off of work, and I just need to decompress a little bit after the holidays, I think. I have just been not grooving lately. You know, when you just get thrown off your schedule and it just takes you a while to get back to normal. I feel like I'm just in a mental group. I want to get out of it. I've been super anxious lately and I think I just need to relax and just like soak in my home. I also still haven't taken my Christmas decorations down and it's like January 14th. Wow, it's later in the month than I thought it was. Yeah, so we're gonna take the Christmas decorations down. I think that's gonna help too. But what I really want to do is just soak into some mystery and thriller books this weekend and just really treat myself to that, have a good time. The two that I have on my radar are my two book of the month picks. So this is also kind of a book of the month reading vlog. And I have Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins and The Maid by Anita Prose. I am hearing amazing reviews for The Maid. I'm hearing okay reviews for Reckless Girls. That's kind of what I expected. But I just want to read them and I just want to have fun with them and I just want to have a good time. Today's Friday, so we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 4 days of reading to do. So I think I should definitely be able to get through those two books. If I have more time, I also want to continue reading Cultish. This is a nonfiction book that I've been reading that is about the language used in cult-like groups. So if we've got time, I'll keep reading this one as well, but my main focuses are Reckless Girls and The Maid. Right now, I still have some more work to do. It's lunchtime now on Friday. I just wanted to film while the lighting was nice because it gets so dark here so early. But this evening, I'm going to be picking up one of these books, and I think the one I'm going to start with is probably going to be Reckless Girls. This one is more of a thriller from what I understand than The Maid. I think The Maid is more of a mystery, and so I want something that's going to be a little faster paced, although I am hearing too that this is inspired by an Agatha Christie story and that it's very slow and then everything happens at the end. So I don't know, maybe I'm in for two mysteries this weekend, who knows? But I just have this idea that I'm going to be able to read this one faster, so I'm going to start with this one and kick it off here. But for now, I'm going to get back to work, get a couple more hours of work done, and then this evening we are getting cozy. It is all about self-care and comfy clothes and nice candles and mood lighting and relaxing on the couch and cuddling with my dog, and I just want to have a good evening. So I will see you there. Saturday morning, and I stayed up and read quite a bit of Reckless Girls last night, so I have quite a bit to say about it. I also started watching Cheer season 2 last night. I forgot that was out on Netflix, so I started watching that and watched the first 2 episodes of that, and I'm very intrigued to see how this season goes after all the scandals that went on last year. Anyway, Reckless Girls, started this. I didn't really know fully what to expect with this one. I knew it had something to do with an island and potentially murder and things going awry. I'm sure I read the full synopsis when I heard this book was coming out, but that was like a year ago now, so I didn't really want to remember everything. I kind of wanted to just be surprised. And as I've been figuring out what the story is about, it's a little bit different than what I expected it to be, I guess. You're following this main character, Lux, who, when the story begins, she is like working at a resort, kind of like a maid, which I thought was funny because the other book I'm planning to read for this video is The Maid, which is about a hotel maid. So that's a funny accidental theme that I'm doing here. But she's working at this resort in Hawaii, and she has ended up following her boyfriend there. She was in California before. She used to work at a restaurant restaurant. He came into her restaurant, they met, they started dating, and he's talking about how he had a boat and was going to Hawaii, and that's what she wanted to do. So now she lives in Hawaii with him. They've been together like 6 months or so, and he's got this boat, but it needs all these repairs, so they haven't been able to go out on their boat excursion that she was really excited to do. I don't know if they were going to travel long term on the boat or what the plan was there, but she really thought they were going to live this like lifestyle on a boat, and that just hasn't really happened yet. So anyways, that's where you are when the story begins. She's working at this resort in Hawaii. I don't even remember what he does for his job. Maybe he does something with boats, but she ends up getting fired from her job like on the very first scene that you're meeting her with. And then he ends up getting an offer from these two women who are friends who are vacationing out in Hawaii, and they want to hire him to take them out on a boat to go to this island that's nearby called Moreau Island. This island has all this history where a long time ago, this crew got shipwrecked there, and then only 8 people ended up surviving. There's like rumors that they resorted to cannibalism, so it's like this weird, historic, creepy island that these women want to go to because apparently it's going to be like isolated and beautiful, and they want to hire him to take them out. They're offering $50,000, so he gets his boat fixed up and they venture out to this island together, and the girlfriend comes along too because now she's lost her job. She doesn't really have anything else better to do. This is what she wanted to do anyways, be out on the boat. And so the 4 of them are going out to this island, and that is where I am at so far. That's all I know. I ended up getting to chapter 8, which is about 86 pages into the book, and that's all the setup. I looked back at the synopsis to try to get a better idea of what to expect with this, and it seems like quite a bit is still going to go on. Someone's going to go missing, someone's going to turn up dead, and it does say there are 6 visitors to this island, so I'm imagining they're going to run into 2 other people while they're there, just based off of the synopsis. But so far, my thoughts on this. I think it's fine. I think it's also incredibly reminiscent of The Wife Upstairs. It just kind of feels like you're reading The Wife Upstairs, but in Hawaii and on a boat, honestly, because the main character, Lux, if you don't know, The Wife Upstairs is the first adult thriller that this author wrote. She's written a lot of stuff. It was written out in the front pages here. She's done a lot of YA, so these are all her titles. The Wife Upstairs was her first adult thriller. This is her follow-up. She's also done an adult romance now that she wrote under a different name. And The Wife Upstairs was about this woman who was a grifter who was down on luck, so she would just clean houses and steal things from them from this rich neighborhood. And then she ended up meeting this guy who was a rich guy, and she took advantage of the situation to be with him, and then things happened from there. It was a Jane Eyre retelling. This one, you're following Lux, who is like down on her luck. She finds this rich man, the guy incredibly wealthy. He comes from a lot of money. You're also getting the same hints of like maybe her motives aren't the best. Maybe she's got secrets in her past with just like hints of what's being said at the end of chapters and things. So it's really feeling a lot like The Wife Upstairs to me, which is interesting, but I don't know. I think so far it's fine. I don't feel super strongly about it one way or the other. I think it is quite a lot of setup to get to the island. The fact that I'm nearly 100 pages in and we're still not on the island, and it's only a 300-page book, like it's a pretty short one. So I'm kind of surprised it spent so much time giving these characters backgrounds and building up to that. So I'm hoping the pace starts to pick up a little bit here soon, but it's very easy to read quickly. So I am anticipating, honestly, maybe even finishing it today because it just flies by. So I'm gonna jump back into the story, read another 100 pages or so, and then I'll check in with you again and see how it's going at that point. Okay, checking in on Reckless Girls. I read about 100 more pages. I'm at page 188 now. So I'm getting kind of close to the end of the book, and I wanted to check in before I just flew through the rest. I don't remember if I said this at the beginning of this vlog, but I was fully anticipating this to be a 3-star read for me, just based off of The Wife Upstairs and my experience with that book. It was like a 4-star when I read it. Immediately I thought I had fun with it, but as time passed, I was like, just a 3-star, like it was fine. So I was fully anticipating this to be a 3-star read. I talked about it as a most anticipated release of the year because I wanted to read it, but I didn't think by any means that I was going to really love it. I was not anticipating to have a good time with it. Also, I've been seeing people's reviews of this book, and it has been literally like 3 stars across the board from everyone I know who has read this book. So I have just been expecting not much from it. And in an unlikely turn of events, I'm actually really enjoying this book. The second act of this book, I feel like, is so strong and so much better than the first act. The first 80 pages were kind of boring. Not boring, I guess, but just like, I don't know. I wanted to just get to the island. island. I thought that we were going to get to the island quicker, and I didn't know why we were getting so much backstory on the characters and like seeing them in all these different places. I didn't know if that really mattered. I just didn't really care a lot about the book in the first 85 pages. Immediately after, like the next chapter I read, after checking in on the first section of the book, they see the island, like they get to the island. That was really the perfect stopping point to give you an update, and I didn't even know it. But ever since then, I've really been liking this book. I'm having so much fun with it. I really just have loved everything that's happened on the island. They do end up meeting two other people when they're there. When they arrive at the island, there's another couple who is there, so that's what gets it up to 6 people. And I won't give any more specific plot details because I don't want to spoil anything, and anything I've told you so far is outlined in the synopsis. Although it also says in the synopsis that someone's gonna go missing and someone's gonna be murdered, and I will say that hasn't happened yet, so I see why people say this is a slow burn and that they feel like nothing happens in this story until the end. I feel like that probably shouldn't have been in the synopsis. I feel like it would have been fine to just leave it at the fact that like 6 people end up on an island and spooky things happen, but I don't know, I'm just like really liking it. These are the type of thrillers that I really enjoy. I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's also flashback scenes, so sometimes you're reading before and sometimes you're reading now, and it does that with like all of the characters that you're seeing. You're mainly following Lux in this story, who has the boyfriend, and they ended up going here, and there's the 2 girls, and now there's another couple. But even though you're mainly following Lux, you still get the before scenes from all the other people on the island, and I'm just really liking how the story is getting pieced together. It's just exactly the type of thrillers I like, where there's a sizable group of characters, you don't know who to trust, everyone has secrets, and you piece together things in a not chronological order. That's my recipe for a fun thriller. I'm loving how you're learning things about certain characters at different times, and sometimes you know things that other characters don't, and sometimes you're just as confused as everyone else is. Or like, I guess that's what I like about it, is you're learning things that the characters don't know, and they don't even know that there's something that they don't know, which is fun. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it makes sense in my head. And that's the only way I can really talk about it without giving spoilers. But yeah, I'm really loving this. I feel like I see how the twist is being pieced together, and it's funny because it's a twist that sometimes, if I'm right, if that's what the twist is, it's a twist that sometimes I really hate in books. But if things piece together the way that I think they are, I'm really gonna love this book. So yeah, it's hard to talk about without giving spoilers, but I'm really liking it. I'm having a fun time. I hope things are piecing together the way that I think they are. And even then, like sometimes that's disappointing because it was like predictable, but I feel like I'm building the puzzle, like connecting the puzzle pieces along with the story at the perfect pace. And I'm just really impressed with this. I'm having a good time. Hopefully it doesn't blow it in the end, because I do still have like another 100 pages and it could go downhill, I guess. But yeah, I'm really surprised at how much I've been enjoying this, given how much I've seen other people not really enjoy it. But yeah, I'm just gonna fly through the end of this book. It's only, I don't know where my phone is, 11:30 a.m. So it's not even noon yet, and I've been flying through this. So yeah, I'm gonna read more, see if I can get to the end in the next couple hours. I'm gonna have to like eat lunch and do some other things, but I'm excited. I'm excited to finish this book. So I finished Reckless Girls. I actually finished it a couple hours ago, and then I got watching more Cheer on Netflix. But I needed some time to think about it because I'm kind of conflicted on how I want to rate it. I still honestly don't know. I think this is probably going to be a 3 or a 4 star for me. I'm not sure where I'm landing. I really enjoyed reading the book. I had an enjoyable experience, especially with the lot of the middle part of the book. I thought it was really fun to read. The way things wrapped up is partially how I was predicting with the main twist, but I did think it was going to be a little bit more complex than what it ended up being, and kind of what the moral of the story was. Just wasn't my absolute favorite thing. So I don't know. I feel like right now I'm kind of leaning more towards a 4 star, but I could see it maybe deteriorating and going down to a 3 upon more thought. Overall, I would say it was an enjoyable reading experience as far as thrillers go. I really enjoyed the boat and island atmosphere. I really enjoyed the amount of characters we had in the story and not knowing who you could trust, and them all having secrets, and the way that was getting revealed throughout the story. I really liked that you got the before and the after picture, so you would have a lot of flashback scenes for all the different characters. As far as what I didn't like about about it. The beginning was pretty slow in those first 80 pages or so. They weren't not enjoyable to read, but it's not a thriller that's going to grab your attention super quickly. I will say that. It does get much more, I would say fast paced, but I still don't think this is like a fast paced thriller with thrills happening quickly, but I think that the way the story unravels keeps a nice pace in the story of you learning information or the stakes rising or there being this tension or suspense that's being built through the story. So I think the pacing of it for the most part is nice once you get past the initial little bit. I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna like the ending of this. I feel like this is one of those thrillers that I enjoyed, and then I'm gonna hear a lot of people say that it's like cheesy and stupid. I thought it was fine. It just wasn't exactly what I think I wanted from the ending, but that in particular is what I want to think a little bit more on to solidify my rating. I think right now I'll say it's a 4-star. I think I'll say it's a fun time. I would recommend picking it up. It might end up being a little bit forgettable for me though, because I ended up reading it so fast. I feel like I'm not going to retain a lot, so I need to sit, reflect, retain information, and we'll see which rating I end up settling on by the end of this video. But now I'm going to be picking up The Maid next. I'm going to start this one tonight, not right now. I'm getting ready to go out to dinner, but then once I get back from dinner later tonight, I'm gonna crack this one open and read the first little bit of this and get first impressions. All I know about it so far is that it is about this maid in this hotel. Someone dies, it looks like she did it, and then she gets caught up in the investigation of trying to figure out who did it. Sounds really fun. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this one. I've been hearing great things about it, so I'm excited to crack it open tonight and see how the first little bit goes. But for now, I'm going to get back to watching a little bit more of Cheer, taking my dog out, and getting ready to go to dinner. So I will talk to you again once I am back home and reading again. Hello, it is now Saturday and it's like 1 p.m. I think. Yep, it's 1 p.m. And I have not had a super productive day. I've done absolutely no reading at all. But I did finally put my Christmas decorations and my Christmas tree away. So that was an accomplishment for the day. I tried to watch another show, that show Stay Close, which is on Netflix, but it's not super good. So I just watched the first episode and I wasn't really feeling it. But I do want to get some more reading done. I did end up starting The Maid last night, but I didn't get very far. I only read the first 26 pages. And to be honest, I really am not liking the writing style of it so far. It's just excessively wordy and it's very claustrophobic. And you're really stuck in this character's head and she's just very wordy. So it's been a little hard to get through the first 25 pages and it didn't pull me in immediately. So what I'm going to do is get the audiobook and try to listen to that and maybe work on my bullet journal a little bit. I don't know if I'd really call it a bullet journal. I guess my reading journal. I don't do like bullet journal-y things in there, like habit tracking and whatever, but I do like to track my reading in a journal, some months more than others, but I want something to do so I can listen to audiobook and I don't feel like putting a puzzle together because I'm really tired. So I'm just gonna work in my reading journal a little bit, try to listen to this on audio. Hopefully that goes better. So that's what we're gonna do. Life a little bit. It is much later in the day now. It is 6 o'clock, so I'm getting ready to make dinner. I'm gonna make spaghetti and meatballs. I'm very excited about it. But I did finally read some more of The Maid, and the audiobook is really helping. I would really highly recommend the audiobook version of this if you're going to read this book. Also, if the lighting keeps changing on me, sorry, I have the TV on and I don't feel like turning it off. Anyways, The Maid I have read up to about page 115-ish. So So I'm that far in the book. It's not even a 300-page book, so it's a little bit shorter, but it is pretty densely written. So there's a lot of words on the page. So it's not the quickest read. I still am a few hours out from being able to finish this. And I don't really know how I'm feeling about it. I'm definitely not loving it. I'm not hating it. I don't know if I'm even liking it though. It's like, it's fine. If I were reading this purely physically without the audiobook, I probably would DNF, but because I have the audiobook, I think the audiobook is a much more enjoyable experience and it's a very easy listen. Like I've just had it in my ears while I was journaling and then doing things around the house or just chilling out and laying down and listening to the audiobook and not following along in the book. So that has really saved this experience for me, but overall, so far, it's just not exactly what I was expecting it to be. The main character, Molly, who is the maid who gets pulled into this investigation, is incredibly naive in society. I'm not sure specifically how she's intended to be interpreted or written, like if you're supposed to interpret her as having any sort of specific differences about her, or if she is just supposed to be like a naive human who grew up in different circumstances. I'm not sure. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it in that extent, so I don't know. I don't want to like diagnose Molly with anything without knowing. And there's nothing flat out said about that in the book either, because you're following her perspective, and there's so many times where she doesn't have the full picture and the full story, and she doesn't understand people's emotions and reactions, and she doesn't understand sarcasm and things like that. So with the nature of her character being that way, she ends up getting caught in a obviously pretty bad situation with some obviously pretty bad people. And so that is your perspective following her through the story, is you kind of know what's going on the whole time and she doesn't, and you're seeing how that leads her to make blunders and mistakes along the way, which isn't exactly what I was expecting this to be. So I'm just not loving it. It's just not the most enjoyable perspective to be following in the story. Also, this is said to be like a Clue-like locked room mystery in this hotel, and it's also just not that, because it's not that mysterious what's going on, or at least like who the bad guys are is pretty evident. So it's just the fact that from Molly's perspective, she doesn't know what's going on, but you as the reader can pick up on it pretty quickly. So yeah, that's how I feel about this now. I'm gonna keep reading more of it. I'm probably just gonna finish the book no matter what, since I have the audiobook anyways. But this is one I definitely could see myself DNFing if I hadn't have done that. So I don't know, we'll see how I end up feeling about final ratings and such, but I'll probably try to check in with you one more time and not just finish the whole book unless really nothing's happening. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see where I'm at the next time that we check in. Also, this is totally random, but ever since I got this new camera and now I film in different locations, I can just kind of easily pick it up and film wherever I want. I've realized that it might be confusing to see a door behind my couch, and you might wonder, why is there just a door behind her couch? Does she not need that door? Maybe you don't wonder that, but I've gotten really self-conscious about it as I film right here all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, someone's gonna comment about the door one of these days. So I'll just let you know that we don't use this door. We don't need this door. We live in a house that was converted into apartments. This house was built in like the 1800s, I think. It's a 3-story, so each floor has been converted into its own apartment living situation. And so the front door of our like house is a front door that enters like a hallway where you can either go upstairs to the next levels or come down the hall and enter into our apartment. And we have 3 doors technically that enter our apartment from the hall. This is one of them. And this is in our living room space. And then we have another door that is in like the dining room area, but it's technically not a door anymore. It's a closet now, which is weird. And then we have another front door that goes directly into our kitchen, which is back through there and yonder, and that is the door that we use as our main door, because the living room, let me show you. So if you look from over here, this is the living room, and we have the TV, this is where the couches are, and then this door is just in the middle of this big wall, so the couch doesn't fit here or on that side because there's a radiator over there. So the couch was only going to fit if we blocked the door. And we don't need this door anyway. So we just let it sit like that. But
it can look kind of funky if you don't know why it's like that.
Anyway, I hope that cleared some things up if you were curious, and if you weren't, you just got a little tidbit of information. But yeah, I'm gonna go cook some dinner now, have some dinner, chill out, read some more this evening, probably try to spend some time with my partner, maybe watch something together. I really want to watch that new Disney movie Encanto, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for like an animated movie. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I will check in with you again tomorrow. Okay, good morning. It is Monday morning-ish now. It's pretty much almost lunchtime. I'm getting ready to film a couple videos, so that's why I look somewhat more put together, but I did read more of The Maid last night and ended up getting pretty far into it. I'm now at chapter 19, which is page 195, so I don't have that much left of the story. And unfortunately, I'm still not really enjoying this one. I don't feel super negative towards it in any way, but it's just not what I expected it to be, and it's not really exciting to read in my opinion. I was expecting a lot more of like a murder mystery, and this just isn't mysterious to me. So I'm just not having the best time with it. It's definitely one that I would have DNF'd if I had been reading physically, but the audiobook, it's whatever, it's easy to fly through. I've been listening at like 2.5 times speed, just getting through it. So I'm gonna finish this one today and just get final thoughts on it. But overall, I'm just disappointed, I guess, in what I thought this was gonna be and what it ended up being. I definitely think it's a well-written book in terms of the writing style, or in terms of it just being a well-written work. But in my opinion, it does lean more literary fiction-y. Like it reads like a literary fiction book to me, where it's more of like a character study following Molly and less of a convoluted murder mystery puzzle that you're trying to put together in this like locked room hotel situation. It's still super slow-paced. Not a ton has really happened to this point. It's one of those books where it's pretty much just what the synopsis lays out for you, and there's not a ton of surprises. So yeah, I don't know, just not really working for me. I'm gonna finish it later today. I'll let you know my final thoughts at that point, but for now I'm gonna film some videos, gotta get some stuff going, and I will check in with you later today. I just got a package in the mail, and I thought it was gonna be my HelloFresh, but it's something from my friend that I knew she was sending me as a late Christmas present, so I'm just gonna open it now on camera. Also, she does watch my videos, so Kelsey, if you're watching, hello. Thank you for the Christmas gift. Oh gosh. Oh, ow. What do we have? Oh, this is so cute. It's a little ornament that is a 'Tis the Damn Season ornament. Are you kidding? That's so cute. Oh my goodness, I love that. That's so funny too, because I just got my F the Patriarchy keychain from the Taylor merch. So very, very good timing with that. So cute. Also some fun stuff. And then a little wine aerator, which is so much fancier than I have ever been. But I did just set up my bar cart with I got a brand new bar cart for Christmas. So this is also perfect, a little addition that I can add to my bar cart and live my fancy wino life that I want to pretend that I live. So thank you, Kelsey. That was very sweet. And I just took my Christmas tree down, but now I'm going to put it right back up so I can put this ornament up. Not really, but I'm very excited to have that. Very cute. Thank you so much. Also, I just started reading the card. I wasn't going to read it to you because that's personal, but she did say that a girl from her high school who has actually done some graphic design work for Taylor Swift merch started an Etsy shop, and that's where this came from. So if I can find the Etsy shop, I'll link that down below in case you're interested as well. So I just finished The Maid. Erin and Kayla were doing reading sprints. Again, they've been doing a lot lately. It was perfect timing, so I was able to fly through the end of The Maid. Thank goodness I got to fly through it so I could finally be done with it. But I will say the ending was my favorite part of this book. I think it just wrapped things up really nicely. It was really sweet. It was really sad and heartwarming. And there's a pretty good twist in the epilogue as well that I was pretty pleased with. So the ending was definitely the best part, but I still didn't love this. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be, which is not the book's fault. It's just like my expectations of it based on what people have been saying and the marketing around it. I just thought it was gonna be this like puzzly murder mystery, and it just was not that. But I will say it was still a good book. It was written well. I would read from this author again. I would just be a little more skeptical and like pay more attention to the synopsis, I guess, to know what it was really gonna be like. But this is being adapted, I believe, into a movie. And I think this is the one that's involving Florence Pugh. And I love Florence Pugh, so I will be watching that adaptation. I'm very excited for that. I think it's gonna work better on screen for me than it did in the book anyways. That's similar to how I feel about like Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I just didn't love the book, but I feel like I would love it as an adaptation in a show or a movie or something. And that's how I feel about this one too, because it's just like so much is based on you falling in love with the character for you to enjoy the book, I feel like. And it was hard for me to fall in love with her when I was stuck in her head. But if it's gonna be Florence Pugh, then I mean, all the hard work is done for me. So very much looking forward to the adaptation whenever this is slated to come out. So yeah, that is it for this reading vlog. I was going to maybe read a little bit more of Cultish, but it is like 4 p.m., which isn't that late on Monday, but I'd rather just spend the evening relaxing before going back to work tomorrow instead of trying to read a lot and update and worry about that. So I'm just going to end it here, but I'm glad I had a good long weekend with lots of reading, even if I didn't love both of the books. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I did come to a decision on my final rating of Reckless Girls, and I'm going to give it a 4-star because I had a good time. And when it comes to thrillers, that's all I'm really looking for, is to have a good time. And I don't even care that the ending was kind of stupid and the moral of the story was kind of stupid. Like, I still enjoyed reading the book. So I'm gonna give that a 4-star. The Maid is probably going to be a 2-star for me, but I don't think it's a bad book. I just think it was a not for me kind of book. So still would recommend picking it up if it sounds like something that you'd be interested in, if you like character studies and things like that, but it just wasn't what I wanted from the book. But either way, still had a fun weekend of reading, relaxing, and watching YouTube and watching shows and journaling and chilling out. So I'm glad that I just slowed down this weekend to do all of that. Let me know down in the comments below if you have read either of these books and what you think about them. But that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!